Hey everybody, it's Janay again from Woman Rising, and tonight I have a special guest. It's my fiance, Qui. Say hi to everybody out there.
It's
hey.
Qui.
So tonight, like I said in earlier live, I owe you guys 2 lives. I didn't do my live yesterday, so this is the second one to go with our 31 days of sunflowers. Tonight, since Mother's Day is coming up, we are going to actually talk about Mother's Day and how it flows in our house since we are 2 moms. And I'm going to be asking my fiance a few questions just to kind of see how she feels about, being in a 2-mom household or same-sex relationship, raising kids, and just kind of tapping into what her thought process has been through this whole life change. So again, this is Qui, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So this is our second Mother's Day together. I know in our first year, because I spent so much time with the kids after school, there was a point where you felt like you were kind of getting put on the back burner because we kind of had our own system, and you would come home and things were already done. So tell me, in the early stages of us living together, what were your thought processes when you started seeing things just kind of get a system, and we just kind of had a routine, and when you came home you didn't really have to do anything, everything was already done?
Well, my thought process was pretty much like you said. I felt like I was being put on the back burner, like somebody was coming in doing all the things that I did, and there was no more like mommy work for me to do. At first it made me start to feel detached from knowing what was going on in my kids' lives, even though you would tell me, you would definitely keep me in a loop and relay important matters or non-important matters, just what happened in their day when I was getting home late. But it still didn't take away from the fact that I wasn't able to acquire that information myself, or that I wasn't able to be there with them to help with the things that they need help with after school. So definitely at first it was tough, kind of like the weaning process, the beginning of the weaning process of being a single parent, a single mom.
Yeah, so you were a single mom when we met. Your mom was basically helping you. She would keep the kids while you would work multiple jobs to provide for them. So what would you say was the hardest thing about just taking your mom out of the equation and having a full-time partner that was active in helping you raise the kids?
The hardest part, I think, was just the fact that she was around more, and just detaching from her. All in itself was hard, because pretty much for the last, before I met you, was it like a solid 5 years? That's what we had known. That had became our norm. And it wasn't anything that I was uncommon and unfamiliar with growing up myself, with my mom, and really mostly being raised by my grandmother since she was a young mom. But it was almost like the same sort of overall feeling. But that was hard because that was the norm of what I came up in, and the norm of what I had, the environment that I had the girls in, that we were slowly but surely getting away from, and just into a different lifestyle of actually having 2 loving parents in the home. It was an adjustment.
Yeah. So having 2 parents is good. That's what a lot of us saw and traditionally in TV shows and movies and the media growing up. Some of us, had that in our own households. I know I came from a 2-parent household. But what we've seen growing up was a mom and a dad. So it was definitive. There was Mother's Day and there was Father's Day. There was one person to celebrate on each of those days. But with us being a same-sex couple, now the kids have to split Mother's Day. So tell me about our first Mother's Day together. What was your thoughts? What did the kids say to you about helping with gifts or picking out gifts? Or did they come to you and tell you that they wanted to pick out their own gifts? How did that come about?
They did come to me and told me that they wanted to pick their own gifts for you. And I just wanted it to be special. I didn't want you to feel like you weren't their mom, because you grew to be their mom just as much as me. So I don't know, it was like wham bam thank you ma'am last year, because we separated them. I went out with them to get your gifts, they went out with you to get my gifts, and it was fun. The excitement that they had with the things that they wanted to get you, and then I had my own ideas of what I wanted to give to you. So that part wasn't hard. They don't have any problem picking and choosing material things to give anybody and to share with themselves. Right.
So we asked them a couple of days ago how they felt about having two moms. Like what were their thoughts? So they shared with us a little bit of their insight on how they felt about having two moms. What did you take away from that conversation that we had with them? I know they got a little bit off topic. We started talking about their school friends a little bit, but overall, their responses to the questions that we asked them, what was your takeaway from that?
It was just a good feeling, because I know you've had your times where you've not felt as included as you'd like to feel and like to be, but just it was like a reiteration and confirmation, Niley's excitement, and kind of like her being put off when other people don't understand that she's like, I got two moms, and that's the energy that she brings to it. Like, don't mistake it. I have two moms. So when other adults or just people or peers kind of like are confused when she says that, or they don't take it well, or however kind of negative kind of life form around that, just her energy is kind of like duh.
No question.
Yeah, just confirmation of that she's totally excited. I took that away. And Nair, she's a lot more practical. But it wasn't anything that I didn't expect. Like, I know she's also happy to have two moms, and it's not even so much, and we talked about that too, it's not even so much that it's two moms versus the fact that it's two parents in the home that show love, speak with love, shower with love, and is very in tune and with the kids and inclusive. I think she loves that the most because like I said, she's practical. So it's just like I forget what all she said in her response.
Yeah, she was more so just
it was
her biggest complaint was so typical kid to me. I thought that was just so great because, especially being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, we're always fighting to normalize our households and normalize our lifestyle and just bring some awareness that there really is no difference outside of the gender of the people in the relationship. We go through arguments and disagreements just like my parents went through arguments and disagreements. We have issues where we disagree on parenting and how to child rear, just like my parents did. Like we've talked several times about my dad's parenting style was really present but absent, where he was there in body, but if we had a question about anything or needed permission for anything, his response was always, I don't care, ask your mom. I don't care, but you need to ask your mom. Mom's word was always the final say so. So, I didn't really have that as a complaint growing up because it was pretty cut and clear. And even talking to my dad about, growing up with his parents, he would say that they acted more on a joint front. Not so much, I don't care, ask your mom, or I don't care, ask your dad. It would be, well, what did the other person say? What did the other parent say? And whatever the other parent said, that was it. There, and even if they did have a disagreement, he never heard about it. And I know that that's a format that we're trying to get to with raising the kids, that even if we don't agree with what the other one decided, we're going to support each other in front of them, and then behind closed doors we'll have a conversation about it so that we can get back on one page. So if something like that comes up again, we're all on one accord. So just to hear that was her complaint, I think that's a typical kid complaint, really. My parents can't ever agree. If I ask one of them, I know what parent I need to ask for specific things, or I know what parent I need to tell about specific things. So right. Her being a practical person and just wanting a definitive answer, she doesn't like a whole lot of ripples in the pond anyway. So to her, that's really just feels a little bit like instability more so than anything, because she doesn't know. It's always a surprise. She doesn't know what she's going to get depending on what type of situation it is, how we're feeling, what's going on in the household. She never knows what the answer is going to be depending on what parent it is. And I think it's gotten more so like that now, whereas we've gotten a lot more practical with parenting versus just saying yes all the time. Because there was a point where we had to have a conversation about being in a single parent mode still, where a lot of single parents, they try to make up for the absent parent. And so they compensate, and overcompensate for things that they don't necessarily need, just trying to fill that void that they think is there from the other parent being there. So we had a point where it was like everything was just a yes. And then once we got to a point of, okay, let's think about this. Is this something that you actually need right now? Or is it just something that you want right now? Is this convenient for me right now? Or is this inconvenient for me right now? And really helping you get more to a point of self-preservation so that you could pour back into them. I think with you working so many jobs all the time that you did have with them, it was like you just wanted to be the fun parent. You enjoyed having fun with them. So there wasn't a whole lot of correcting or saying no, because we just want to have fun. We want it to be a good time. And we don't have a whole lot of time between school and all the jobs that I'm working. That became the dynamic. So I think just hearing the word no more and having to give validation to their request may have, brought on some of those feelings of we're never on the same page. But I think we've gotten to a much better place with that. Me not being so hard up to be completely by the book, and you being more so analytical under certain requests. It's not always just, it's no big deal, it's just this or it's just that. So we're coming closer together on parenting the same way, which I still love the fact that we're so different. We are a dynamic duo because we are so different. We look at things different. We look at the exact same situation or the exact same goal and have a completely different way of dealing with it or resolving it. So I definitely love that about us. They get a full spectrum of parenting because we are polar opposites. So they get a full development, I think, just to see all of those personality types blend together like that.
Definitely.
So we are coming up on our second Mother's Day together. Does it feel any different this year? No.
You know me and holidays, so
right.
It doesn't matter if it's Mother's
She doesn't
Day,
like any commercial holidays that
Father's
require
Day.
spending
The only
money.
holiday that matters is July 22nd, my birthday.
Fair enough.
And I guess you and the kids' birthdays.
Fair enough.
Still.
Yeah. So we had a little situation happen with purchasing Mother's Day gifts this year. So my soon-to-be mother-in-law and we don't have the best relationship. I'll put it that way. And her family is not so excited about her being with a woman anymore than my family is. So that's one of the challenges that we go through and face together. This year, Nylian asked her grandmother to take her to get our Mother's Day gifts. And she was very specific. She didn't just say, can you take me to go and get Mom's gift? She said, can you go and take me to get Mom and Janay's gift for Mother's Day? And her grandmother said yes. And then when they got to the store, it became a situation where her grandmother felt the need to remind her that I was not her mom. And I know we had talked about it a little bit today. We hadn't really followed back on it because this happened on Saturday. Mm-hmm. This happened on Saturday. And we hadn't really dialogued about it until today, it being Monday. Just recap, like what was your thought process when she came home and shared that with us, her and Nair?
Well, I was telling you, like, so many things was going through my mind. But I didn't want to express those things in front of the kids. We try to be very conscious about that. But the first thing was like, that was unnecessary. That it wasn't needed to remind them that you aren't their biological mother. They know that they're old enough. They're not dumb kids. They're far from dumb kids. Their grades are stellar. But and the second thing was what kills me overall, whether it's me personally or other lesbian relationships, what kills me about family members or friends even that feel some sort of way or ask the dumb questions like, what are you teaching them by you raising them with another woman? Like, that makes no sense, because I grew up in a home where it was my grandmother and my mom, and while they aren't lesbian, I was raised by two women. It's no different when it comes to raising kids and in that similar thought process of a lesbian relationship. Essentially, that's what it comes down to, is a child or children are being raised by two women. And that was like the like immediate second thought that came after, well, why'd you have to say that without outwardly speaking on it? That thought came after, like, it's just silly, so I won't entertain it, because essentially it's the same. So I guess I didn't understand. So when we talked about it, you kind of coming from a place of, well, you can understand that it may have come from a hurt place. So I kind of took that in and let it be that, if that's what it is or what it was, regardless of whatever it is or was. I wasn't going to entertain it, because I just been being a lot more conscious myself with the energy that I even entertain, because I'm a very emotional person. That's the best way for me to stay grounded, is by blocking certain energies and not allowing them into my space at all. So whether it's ignoring somebody or whatever I got to do to protect my peace, and that's kind of where I was with it. Because I didn't want it to be something that it wasn't, or something that it actually was, and then get me all worked up or whatever. So it's just like, it is what it is. We know what it is. The girls love what it is. So who else's feelings or opinions even matter? Nobody.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. I mean, our job is to protect the peace in our house. So anybody who isn't okay with the program, they have an opinion about it, it just doesn't sit well with them, we just don't allow them to be in our space. My mom has only been over here twice. Her mom's been over here a handful of times. Those are the people that gave birth to us. But at the end of the day, this is a major part of our lives. And while you may not understand it, you may not accept it, you may not agree with it, we still have to live our lives. Just like you got to live your life and do things how you wanted to do things for you, we have to live in that same truth. So it definitely sucks, because I know for both of us, family is extremely important. I lost my grandmother a couple years back, so grandparents are equally important. Family is important to both of us, but what's more important is teaching our girls to be good people and to do what's right and to do right by others and not judge anybody, and give love and expect to receive love. Don't overcompensate for a relationship. Don't go looking for love from somebody who is not willingly giving it. And don't overextend yourself.
Toxicity.
Yeah, don't overextend yourself for anybody. It doesn't matter what their title is to you. You owe nobody any kind of anything. That's what we teach them. If you are the children, you don't have cell phones. You don't have electronics at your disposal. So, somebody feels like they want to guilt trip you for not getting in contact with them, or not calling them on a regular basis. That's not their job as children, and that's what we teach them. Speaking of teaching, I know since I've been in the picture, we've changed a lot about how having house rules. We've got schedules, because that's the type of person that I am. But how have you felt about adjusting to that, or what was your biggest trial with adjusting to putting order into our home?
The schedules was the biggest, because of my personality type. I'm a big hippie with my letters. Like, I really truly just like to go with the flow of the day, whatever gets done in that day. I always feel accomplished. Like, me not meeting a deadline or a goal written out at a certain time had never been an issue for me. But you being polar opposite, that was an issue for you. So it's been trying because of the schedule. It's been very trying for me, but not impossible. What it came down to is, I understood that in order to raise them up in the way that I always talked about them going, I understood that was the piece that was missing, because I didn't have the discipline in my home, and my mom knows that. Like, there's really no structure. It was talked about, but I think, like, with her having me really young, but then having more kids, my younger sisters a lot later in life, she had gotten tired, like most moms do. You get past 30 plus whatever, and you still having kids. If you ain't, an athlete and still active, kids wear you down. Kids get you tired at any age. But a lot of women I see kind of get tired after having them last kids. And I think most people talk like that. Like, especially older siblings, when it's younger siblings looking back at it, it's always like mom and dad, or mom didn't do that with me. Like, she's a lot more lax with the younger kids because she's tired most of the time. When it came to the schedules, that was trying for me, just because I'm an ENFP, so I don't really like following a schedule, but I get shit done. So it was like, I didn't understand why we were battling with that, but I did understand that, like, even with it came into play with my personal goals for business, I understood that I can be who I am, but if I want to get things in order and have the structure that I need and be on time and stay on task with the business deadlines that I have, it's better to keep schedules. So that's still a work in progress for me to do consistently, but I liked it, even though it was a struggle, if that makes sense. I loved it, as a matter of fact, I should say, even though it was a struggle, because I knew that was where the growth lied. That was something that I didn't have, so I didn't know how to distribute it and enforce it and teach it, because I didn't know what it looked like, per se. There's movies and things, but you don't really know what it looks like until you're in it. And like I said in the beginning of all of that, I just didn't have that, and I always wondered, like, my thing was with structure and discipline. Kids can get that through organized sports or some sort of team organization, which they can, because that's how I feel like I got most of my discipline in life, in the lack thereof, because I'm not as disciplined as a person as you or in any other ISTJ, but yeah, I knew it was necessary, so it was trying, but worked it out. And I feel like our household has been a lot more successful because of it. Like, I don't stress like my mom and I think other mothers have or do, about kids doing chores on time, by the time you get home from work, by the time you say, I'm not yelling at them about those things, because it's all spelled out what they're supposed to do, and there's a process. It's like a well-oiled machine, which is kind of like what I feel like the term of what I said to you, how I imagine structure would look like in my home. I feel like that's what I said to you, and you just kind of helped manifest it. And it definitely has become that, a well-oiled machine. Not really spending too much time telling the kids anything, reminding them, sure, yeah, because they're kids. And then processes in place when they just totally decide not to or forget. So, having that reprimand and that reinforcement in place, has it been difficult for you? Where some things you would normally just kind of let slide, like, oh, you forgot, I forget too, but now we have a regimen that we stick to. Okay, yeah, I will say, just because of everything, like how I just answered, just the schedule of everything. Obviously, when the schedule is unkept, which I am not a keeper of schedules, reprimand has to come. So because I wasn't already built for it, that was the aftermath that goes into the process. That was definitely a challenge for me. But I think, like, my main concern with it was, like, I always wanted the girls, and they do have a safe space to speak freely and express their emotions, concerns, without judgment and with true guidance, not being biased because I'm your mom, whatever like that. I feel like, excuse me, one moment. You said I was going to need this.
I told you were going to need it.
I feel like the reprimand was a challenge at first, but it got easier when I thought about the goal of it all. And my main thing was I don't want to be disrespected. I give out too much love. I give out too many things to ever feel disrespected. I put a lot of work into making sure that they have the things that they want, need, and all of that. And before you, and even still with you, but a lot less now, I felt disrespected many times by my kids. And I don't even want to say disrespected, just the ungrateful attitude. And when, like how I give, whether it's them or to people, that part is just very much appreciated, but it's a lot less easy to take from little people right in your face that don't go to work to pay the bills, that don't go to work to get the toys or to get the books or to get the type of shoes. Like, I just said I didn't want to see, or I didn't want them to come up in and be exactly a repeat of what we already came up in and were. So I was trying to grow, and I knew in order to grow I had to get uncomfortable. So it was uncomfortable. At first.
So in our house, we talk to our kids every single day. And, you know, kids complain. That's what they do. It is hard for me, I will say, and we've had to have several conversations about that. I don't like complainers. I don't like adult complainers. And I definitely don't like kid complainers when everything that you need, you don't have to worry about. It's already provided for you. So I have a very simple algorithm with that. You know, it's an equation. There are going to be things that you want from us as your parents. There are going to be things that we want from you as your parents. So it's not going to be a lopsided relationship. Our job is to feed you, clothe you, and provide you with shelter and send you to school. And literally anything else that you want is a want. It's not a necessity. We provide the necessities. So anything extra that you want, you're going to have to contribute to the house. You're both, you know, Naira is 10. She'll be 11 this year. And Nylian is 7. She'll be 8 this year. You know, any kid who can pick up a electronic device and maneuver through it to get on whatever, YouTube, Minecraft, Roblox, whatever they're playing on now, they can pick up a broom. They can pick up a vacuum. Nylian is 7, and she's a little thing, but she vacuums the entire house. She carries the vacuum up and down the stairs. We live in a townhouse. And they both take turns cleaning. They have a bathroom in their bedroom that they share. So they use real cleaning supplies. They clean the toilet. They mop the floor. They do it all. The only thing that they don't do is laundry. And that's my chore. And Naira is getting to the point now she doesn't want to do dishes. So in our house, I have another rule. The person who cooks doesn't do dishes. So she's actively learning how to cook meals so that she has less days that she has to do dishes. But it all equals out. And that's what I explain to the kids, and I always reiterate to them. This relationship will be equal. You will not just get and not give back. And I think it kind of goes back to, again, just people in their lives a lot of times overcompensating for what they felt the kids were lacking, not having two parents in the household, and being in a co-parenting situation with their biological parents. And that's what happens a lot of times in blended families. Everybody feels bad for the kids. Everybody feels like the kids are missing out on something because the parents did not work out. The worst thing that you can do with kids is stay in a relationship that is not working because they feel that. So they were not missing anything for that relationship to end. If they can still have an active relationship with both parents, as long as everybody takes their focus off of their feelings, and focuses on what can't be controlled, the fact that there are kids in the middle of it that don't have a say. They have to be in the middle of it until they're legal adults. So if everybody just takes out of the equation how they're feeling, oh, I don't like him because he's your ex, oh, I don't like her because she's your ex, your mother always talks to your ex about the kids, none of that is relevant. What matters is the kids that are stuck in the middle of it, making sure that they have a stable home wherever it is that they are, and keeping them as the primary focus. Everybody else's emotions are irrelevant, but when we get so caught up in being adults and thinking how we would feel in that situation, not, even having two parents and then maybe not having two parents. My parents separated my senior year in high school, and I was upset at my father, but I did not internalize that and think that it was anything that was my fault. I never looked at it that way. And kids are a lot more smart than we give them credit for. They know when things are their fault, and yes, they can internalize things, but as people, we don't communicate with them about the right things and be open and honest with them about the right things. We are very transparent with them. We talk to them about everything that's going on. We don't argue in front of them, but we do have real conversations with them. We talk to them like little people because that's what they are. They are very intelligent. Kids are intelligent and they understand. And if we don't give them that credit and we're always assuming how they feel and we don't actually ask them, you'd be surprised kids' thought processes behind things and how they view things in life. Like just listening to them, going back to that conversation that we had with them about how they felt about two moms. How much of the conversation wasn't even about the fact that they had two moms, more so about what their friends, having to deal with issues with their friends or their peers making comments, but them not even being bothered by that. I know that they're just being childish because they don't understand and they lack the intellect to just have a conversation to gain understanding. So they think that they're teasing me about something that I'm not ashamed of. So, and, our daughter, she should be 11 this year, but that was her thought process basically behind it. I'm not ashamed of my family. My parents are just like anybody else's parents who can't seem to agree on anything. But overall, they give me balance. Qui had actually had a conversation with her before that, by herself. And those were her words. It's balanced, for the things that we need. If we need scheduling and, to get important papers done in a timely fashion, they know to come to me, Ami. If they, want to have fun and do something, like play outside, because I don't do outside. They want to go sledding. They know they need to talk to mom. So they have balance. They have everything that they need within this house. And when they do spend time with their father, it's all fun. So they're not missing out on anything. If you're in a blended family, stop trying to overcompensate for what you think the kids are missing out on not having two parents in the house. As long as they are surrounded in love, the adults that are involved keep the focus on the kids and not on their feelings or issues with a new lover being in the picture. That's how you make a blended family work. And it's just tough because, especially for us, we don't have a whole lot of examples to look up to. And especially millennials, a lot of us either came from single parent homes or two-parent homes. There wasn't a whole lot of blended families when we were growing up. So we're having to basically invent the wheel, and everybody gets to, it's like you're writing your own book. You get to make your own story. You get to determine how your family will turn out. But what you can take away from it is just putting the kids that are involved that don't have a say, keeping them as the focal point. What are your common goals for them? How can you obtain those common goals? How can you create stability and some kind of normalcy to something that just nobody plans to be a step parent. Nobody plans to be in a blended family, but it happens. People have kids young or a single mom. Nobody plans for that. Nobody was a kid and said, I can't wait to have to deal with somebody else's ex for the remainder of our lives. We can't get rid of this person because they are forever tied to us, because there are children involved that are tied to them. When they go to college, when they get married, when they have kids of their own, this person is still going to be active in their life. the grandkids that we love so much may look like this other person. Like that, there is nobody asked for that. Nobody looked for that when they were a kid. So everybody just needs to be adults about it. And if you can't be an adult, then you need to remove yourself from it. If you are just so bent out of shape about it, you need to remove yourself from it. So, that's our spiel on Mother's Day and sharing Mother's Day, parenting together in a same-sex relationship. I'm so excited to be spending another Mother's Day with you.
Definitely.
And I look forward to so many more.
Definitely.
So,
Happy early Mother's
Day to you. We're going to Fort Wayne for my graduation on Saturday.
Hey,
but we'll be right back. The girls are so excited. They're they really just want to spend our money. They want us to take them out for Mother's Day. That's really what it is. They're like, we should go and do something. I'm like, we could really just rent a $6 movie on cable at home, and I would be good. Not, if somebody wants to cook breakfast for us or something at home, that would be great. But so we'll be on the road Saturday.
How they gonna spend our money on Mother's Day?
They got plans for our money.
I'm just
they
saying,
try to count our pockets.
The true definition of broke best friends,
right? Like we talk to them about money, but they really be trying to figure out when's payday and how much extra money you got for us to go to Sky Zone. It's so many things.
They worse than the homeless because $1 goes a long way with them. For real though.
So thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
A couple quick plugs. We are learning ForEx trading, retail trading. Qui is more active in it right now because I'm finishing school. You should be trading. Find her on Facebook, Qui Sweets. That's QUI space SWEETS. Find her on Facebook. She can give you all the information that you need about the organization that she's through, new investments. They teach you how to trade. You may love your job, but job security is a joke. So, and anybody can use extra money. Everybody can use extra money. This is a way to make extra money. You don't have to sell anything to anybody. You don't have to recruit anybody if you don't want to. It is real. It is legit. Big businesses do it. You can go online and Google right now, ForEx Trading, foreign exchange market. It is a really real thing. Your banks are really, really making money off of it. McDonald's is making money off of it. Lowe's is making money off of it. Starbucks. Everybody is doing it. They just opened it up to consumers to be able to do it. So definitely get in on this education. The company that she's with, their rate for the education is ridiculously low. If you were to go online and look up prices for this education anywhere else, thousands of dollars, easy, because that's the true value of it.
I forgot to tell you, overseas, one of the fam in the community said that overseas they actually have schools, like trade schools, that teach it for like $30,000 and $40,000.
Because it's a whole trade. Like that's like going to college. Wow. It is life changing.
New investments is $99.
Yeah, it's $99 a month. And if you want to make money while you're learning, that's an option, but it's not a requirement. I know 2018 and 2017 were the years of pyramid schemes and add these many people or share this post this many times and you'll get X amount of dollars. None of that is even necessary. You pay for the education for as long as you want it. Get the education, study up, and start making some extra money.
Definitely.
Anybody can do it. If you're over 18, you can do it.
Also, at my Facebook group, if you are confused about what we were even just talking about, it's called The Gateway Investment, ForEx Basics with Sweets. Yeah. That's me.
Right. So
the Gateway Investment is public, so you should be able to find it based off of that. But I call it the Gateway Investment because anything that you want to do with your life, whether it's acquire financial freedom, time freedom, or if you just want to stay really busy and start to build your own businesses, but you can't find a way in sight that you're going to be able to apply and get a small business loan, Forex is a way to put the type of money, capital in your pockets, so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. So that's why I call it the gateway investment. So check me out.
Okay. You guys already know Woman Rising. That's my email blog. So when you get off of this live, you can hit the link in the bio. It's going to take you to the page that has a link to our Facebook page. We have a group chat page on Facebook, and you can put your email address in there, the page to add yourself to the email blog list so that you don't miss a post. I do send out weekly email blogs just about mom life, love life, and woman life. So whatever scenario is going on that week, we'll bring you in on that. So